This is an introduction to intensive course, which is going to be starting right now in this very video, which is a course which is this is a course which is going to be called Intro to Philosophy, or Introduction to Philosophy. There's going to be 3 courses I'm starting right now, and we'll be focusing on these 3. One will be strictly about Derrida, Jacques Derrida and his works. The second one is on introductory epistemology, and this one, the final one, is on which is a introduction to philosophy itself. This whole course is, I'm not a professor. I do not have a PhD. However, I have taken many courses. I've taken many philosophy courses, and I have confidence in my knowledge of the history of philosophy, and others have, told me of my efficient or my sufficient knowledge in the history of philosophy. And I don't have a definite schedule as for this course yet. And basically what I'm going to be doing is, on my days off, is when I'm going to be filming this stuff. My days off are when I normally do this kind of things, and I have a full-time job, so that's just kind of, I have two days off normally in a week. But this week I have 3 days off because it's Labor Day and I have a paid holiday, and that's today. I have two days off otherwise. And immediately following this video, I'm going to be doing videos about the pre-Socratics and also about Plato, and that's the first things we're going to start with. So this course is going to attempt at 2 things. It's going to be two halves going on in this course. And I almost don't want to call it a course because this is not a university. This is not a thing where I'm going to grade you on anything, but this is a course. It's a course in that it's supposed to give you a comprehensive knowledge about something. That's the goal of this whole thing here. And the course is, the goal of the course is to give the viewers and the readers of the text a comprehensive knowledge of the history of philosophy and of the branches of philosophy. We're going to start with going from the pre-Socratics and Plato to about Gottlob Frege and Bertrand Russell, and that is kind of where we will stop when it comes to the history of philosophy. After that, we will talk about each of the branches. Well, not each of them, because there are many different sub-branches and littler branches and all this stuff. But the main branches we're going to be discussing in some detail. But the whole idea is to give you a comprehensive knowledge about the history of philosophy and of the branches that are done, of the things that are studied and the things that are thought about, and the kind of branches of philosophy that a philosopher per se can specialize in. An intro to philosophy class, or a course, is it's supposed to be a cursory, brief thing. It's not supposed to be intensive, so it's almost weird for me to call this an intensive course because it's not that intensive. It's intensive in that it's supposed to give you a good comprehensive knowledge about the history of philosophy and of the branches of philosophy and what is done and what philosophy is about itself. So that's the only way in which it is intensive. So pretty much in this video I'm going to be explaining what we'll be studying and what we'll be reading, and I will have a Tumblr site, a Tumblr blog site, where I will be posting notes for each lecture, for each segment in this course, where you can get the notes and look at that and kind of get a let's say we're talking about Descartes. If we're reading Descartes, we'll probably do Descartes. We'll probably do that we'll probably do each meditation. I'll probably have, when it comes to Descartes, I'll probably have a set of notes for each meditation. So if we're studying the second meditation, you can go to my Tumblr site, or maybe it'll be a WordPress site. I haven't made it yet, but I won't post any videos until I have notes for it. The whole idea is that you can look at the notes, and let's say we're studying the second meditation of Descartes' Meditations on First Philosophy. You can listen to my explanation and my teaching, if you want to call it that, of what's going on. You can read the notes, which is somewhat a gist of it. The notes of which I've made the notes, and my video will be different from the notes. So I won't be, the notes will be like a outline almost. I'm not going to give you notes, which is going to be me explaining each part of. I'm not going to have notes where I'm just going to say the words that are on the notes. So it's going to be a guide. The notes are supposed to be a guide to the text that we're reading, and my lecture segment is also supposed to be, and I hate calling them those. I hate calling it a lecture. I almost hate calling this a course, because it's really not. But it's in a course. It's in the form of a course. So that's kind of the way I want to explain it. So that's kind of what's going to happen here, and that's kind of almost the formulation of all of my courses that I'll be doing. There'll be notes, there'll be a lecture segment, and there'll be text to read. And a lot of it will be from books, but if there's not a way that you can get a certain thing, then I might link you to a article or whatever, something like that. But now I'm going to kind of explain what we'll each be studying and what we'll go through. We're going to start out with a lecture about what philosophy is. A small lecture segment about what philosophy is. And we're going to sort of explain what philosophy is about, what it does, what its business is, in a somewhat of a brief manner. But I want to make that brief in that one cannot really understand philosophy unless they understand the philosophers and what Descartes does, or what Russell does, or what Berkeley does. You don't really understand philosophy unless you've read some of it. So we'll start with that little intro video on what is philosophy. Then we'll do the pre-Socratics, talking about Xenophanes, Thales, Heraclitus, Zeno, Parmenides, and I think there's one more. Yeah, I picked a few that I want to talk about. So we'll start with that, and then we'll go on to Plato, and we'll talk something about Socrates, and what I plan on doing. The things that I will be choosing. I will choose to, I guess, reference the Allegory of the Cave, which I believe is the 7th book of the Republic. I'll talk about the Republic as a whole, but also the Allegory of the Cave and the Divided Line and that stuff, because that is a good introductory thing. And then, so I'll be doing that, and I'll probably be explaining the Republic to an extent. And then I am kind of not entirely decided on where I'll go from there. I'm not entirely sure about that. I know I want to do one more thing on Plato, but I don't want to talk about Plato in the way that a course on ancient philosophy would talk about Plato. So I want to kind of do it in a more simple way. I might do the Meno. I might do the Symposium. I might do the Crito and the Apology. I'm not entirely certain on what will follow the lecture on the Republic just yet. So after Plato, we'll talk about Aristotle, and we're going to do two things on Aristotle: the Nicomachean Ethics and the Metaphysics. And I'm making the decision to skip Stoicism and skip Epicureanism. To skip Epicurus, to skip Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius and Cicero and Seneca. I'm going to skip that stuff for a reason that I want to get on to Anselm, Aquinas, and Augustine, which are philosophers who talk a lot about God and about divine power, and we're going to get into those things. Probably more about Anselm and Aquinas and less about Augustine, but we'll see how far I get into Augustine. Following that, we'll jump from there immediately to Descartes, and we're gonna do the meditations on first philosophy, as I said, and we'll do a lecture segment on each meditation 1 through 6, and then we'll do Leibniz. We'll do his monadology and possibly the discourse on metaphysics. Probably just the monadology though, and then we'll probably do Spinoza and talk about the ethics. Then we'll do Berkeley. I'm not sure if we're going to do the inquiries or the dialogues. I'm not sure. And then we'll go to Hume, probably just the treatise, and then maybe Locke. I'm not sure. Maybe. And then we'll jump to Kant, and we'll do we'll talk about the Critique of Pure Reason and the groundwork of the metaphysics of morals, and maybe the Critique of Practical Reason. And then we'll jump to we're going to skip Fichte. We're going to skip Hegel because of their complexity, and kind of go to Schopenhauer, and then we'll talk about Nietzsche and Kierkegaard, and then Marx, and then we'll talk about Frege and Russell, which I'm concerned as to how because I normally when I talk about Frege and Russell, I kind of go into some details. I'm gonna have to curb that a little bit, and then we'll talk about then that will end the historical part of the course, and then we will do a lecture segment on each branch: metaphysics, ethics, epistemology, philosophy of religion, philosophy of mathematics, logic, philosophy of art, phenomenology, existentialism, structuralism, post-structuralism. Well, probably not post. I probably do like a whole thing on structuralism and post-structuralism, just a briefly. Yeah, I'll probably try to go over each of those. Philosophy of religion. The main ones, really. And then I'll kind of end the course talking about each branch. Really, that's really what it'll be. So if you have any questions about this, or anything, or a different direction that you think I should go with this, let me know in the comments below.